Welcome to Cooking with Dragons. My name is Rourke. Today I'm making something really spicy. As you can see, I got my claws on a couple of these Trinidad Scorpion Peppers from actual Trinidad. I'm going to turn it into ketchup. So I'm going to be taking this one here, since it is the riper of the two. This one here still has a little bit of ways to go, I think. But yeah, that one should be just right. So, a very important thing to know about these peppers, you don't want to handle them barehanded when you're cutting them. Even just picking them up like I did is kind of not a good idea, because the higher concentration of capsaicin that something has in it, the more likely it is to hurt you. And what I mean by that is the oils from that, especially as soon as it's cut, get all over your hands, and then it sinks into the hand, and into the bone, into the nerves, and that causes something called Hunan's hand, which can take like 3 or 4 days to go away. And then when you think it's gone away and you go to wash your hand, it comes back. So really the best way to handle one of these peppers is using nitrile gloves, or you can use a knife and fork. I'm going to be using this corn cob holder, since that might be a little bit easier to get it off of there. And yeah, I'll also be using a serrated knife for that instead of that chef knife, because the serrated knife will cut it a lot easier. But yeah, you could also leave it whole for this recipe if you wanted to. But yeah, like I said, I'm just using that one just because the smaller one looks like it's more full of. The smaller one looks like it's full of fire more than the bigger one, because yeah. Alrighty, so I am going to be simmering these two along with some palm sugar. I got my hands on some palm sugar. About 2 tablespoons of that. A little bit of allspice. Some apple cider vinegar. A bit of smoked paprika. The rest of these plum tomatoes, which I'm going to peel a little bit. Some kosher salt. Kosher salt. And that should be good. And that tomato paste, if I didn't say it already. But yeah. It should be a very interesting ketchup, that's for sure. And what I will put it on, I have no idea. But I'm calling this Scorpion Peppers. I'm calling it Scorpion Ketchup. And so, I'm going to smash these 2 garlic cloves and use half of this onion, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so here we have a freshly cut up Scorpion Trinidad pepper. That's just the juice from the the plum tomatoes. They're actually really soft, so I boiled them a little bit, and then I put them in an ice bath, and then peeled them a little bit, and they didn't really need to be chopped up, so I just kind of... The smell of this pepper is actually pretty incredible. You can see, you definitely want to have this in like a ventilated room, so like, yeah. This actually did well for keeping me from having to touch it for the most part, but... And then I have some crushed garlic here and an onion. Half of an onion. I'm going to bring these to a simmer, and then I'm going to let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll come back to it. Alright, so got a little bit of a good angle there. So I'm just going to use the knife to maneuver these into the pan. Like I said, the less contact with them, the better. You don't have to do this part. I'm just kind of trying to get the onion to kind of rub along those pieces from the pepper. Alrighty. Alrighty, so now we're just going to bring this to a simmer, which is between 1 and 2. And then we cover it once it starts simmering. I'm going to use my whisk for this. That pepper smells really good, but also really, really hot. As it should. As it should. And then I have a little bit of water that I use for the tomatoes in. So that'll serve as the water as I need it. I might need about 2 to 4 tablespoons of it, so I have that there ready to go. Alrighty, I'm back. Thank you. Got that simmering along nicely. Alrighty, so to this I'm going to be adding 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of palm sugar, which are conveniently already cubed up into tablespoons, so that's helpful. Just going to drop these in there until they dissolve. Tablespoon of tomato puree or tomato paste. Alrighty. Now I'll get a half teaspoon of smoked paprika, just for body. And just a 4 teaspoon of allspice. Now we just add the water. About 3 to 4 tablespoons. Alrighty, that should be about all we need. Now we just let that, now we just let the palm sugar dissolve in there, and it should be good to go. You just whisk that in together, and yeah, you just let that form up, and then yeah. Almost forgot the salt. Just about a teaspoon. Or a few good shakes worth of kosher salt. You could also break up that palm sugar if you wanted to. That would be a good way to do it too. You could just take like a good hammer to it, and that should hopefully help it dissolve a little bit faster. But yeah. And then yeah, if you need to add more water, you can. So now we're just letting that go, and then we're going to stir it every so often, and then yeah, should be good to go. Alrighty, so here's what we got after about a half hour so far. I decided to throw about a half teaspoon of Make Shit Good seasoning in there. Good old MSG. Alrighty. Give it a stir. That palm sugar has dissolved nicely in there. Alright, now it's time to taste it a little bit. Alright, let's see how spicy this thing is. Because by looking at it, you wouldn't be able to tell that there's a scorpion pepper, and you wouldn't be able to tell that there's a Trinidad Scorpion Pepper in there. But I'm sure it'll definitely creep up on you to let you know that it's there. That's for sure. But yeah, they say that it has a nice fruity taste to it as well. So there should be a fruity taste as well as as well as that big punch from it too. So let's try it out. Ooh. Oh. That absolutely lights you up immediately. But it's nicely rounded with the paprika, as well as that palm sugar. The MSG rounded out even further. Nice salty. Definitely very spicy, that's for sure. Alright, another 20 minutes or so and it should be good to go. Then we're going to stick it into a blender. And then yeah. Alrighty, so here's what we got. Stick it in nicely. And now to help it cool down a little bit faster, we're going to be transferring it to an ice bath with a bowl over it. Should work out just fine. We're going to transfer it into this ladle. Kind of ladle that in there. Trying to avoid a thermal shock in there if I can. Okay, here we have the beginning of our scorpion ketchup. And then if I have a good amount of ketchup, I don't know how much I'll have to put into a jar, but if it's a good bit amount, I might separate a little bit of it. And then I'll take some of that curry 9 that I made, and I will make scorpion paste with it a little bit. Because while I was getting that palm sugar, I decided to get a few other things. I have some shrimp sauce or shrimp paste, which is fermented shrimp with salt and sulfates. And I also have a little bit of ghee. So that will be the paste part if I do it that way. But that depends if I have enough to make it into a paste. But if I do, then I'll be making a scorpion paste. It should be good, so I'll be back when this cools off. I'm aiming for about 120 degrees or 130 degrees, something like that. That way it'll make the blending part easier. And that should just fit into like a magic bullet type of thing, so that should be fine. So yeah. Alrighty, this is pretty strong, so I'm just going to go with a half teaspoon, or a little bit more than that. That should be really all it needs. You can go with a full teaspoon if you like it, but like I said, I never had it, so this should be a good way to get to know it, really. And then you want to refrigerate this after you open it. Now you want just a couple tablespoons of curry 9, about a tablespoon of scorpion ketchup, and about a tablespoon of ghee. That should round it out nicely. Alrighty, so once you have it good and blended, you can just kind of stir it up the rest of the way, and that should be good enough. Yeah, let's try some of this out. Oh yeah. That is an umami bomb right there. And that kick from the scorpion pepper kind of sneaks up in there. But yeah, it works out. Alright, scorpion ketchup and scorpion paste. Check them out. I always put the recipes in the description if I forget to say something. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. My name is Rourke for Cooking with Dragons. We are exploring the world of food. See you next time and keep on feeding the fire.